Definitely no Lomax this season, right, Danny?
No, so the latest on Lomax was Parramatta were expected to table an offer today to Zach Lomax. I spoke to the Eels late in the day. They weren't willing to give too much away, but that was an indication it'd most likely be an offer for around 3 years for around $650 per season.
It's a lot less than he's on now.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. But when I last heard, it hadn't yet been tabled. But interestingly, there were a few whispers around, a bit of scuttlebutt around that there's another club or two interested in Zach. I couldn't get a name out of which club may be interested. And look, he's a quality player, so, you know, but maybe that's a play to get his price up a little bit, but I don't know for sure.
And what happens to the price that they don't pay? So if he's on big money at the back end of his career at St George, and they paid this money to take him off the market so other clubs couldn't get him, right? They denied other clubs the access to him by paying him this extraordinary amount of money and back-ending it towards the back end of the contract. So they can just walk away from the rest of that if he can't get that money.
Terminated at the end of this year.
But what happens to the salary cap value?
But why shouldn't they be able to? They've got a player there who doesn't want to be there. They don't have to release him.
But they took him off the market 2 years ago so that other clubs couldn't have him. Under the lure of this amount of money, and that just vanishes out of their salary cap.
But they've paid him that much money to date.
So how does the NRL accept that he's just going to go somewhere else and play for less? Based on what?
You're probably not allowed to pay for less.
That's probably an issue with the NRL. That's not a Dragons problem.
Well, it is. It's going to be a Dragons problem because whatever he doesn't get from his other clubs should be included in the Dragons cap, whether they play him or not. Whether they pay him or... Yeah, 100%.
Well, are you saying, Gus, that if Lomax goes to Parramatta at the end of the year, gets $650 and he's meant to be on $850 next year, that the Dragons should be paying.
Where's that other $200 go?
Well, he's foregone
It's either got to be $850 in the cap at Parramatta or it's got to be $200 in the cap at St George, regardless of who pays him.
Because of the value of the player.
Because of the value of the player. Right, okay. They took him off the market at that value.
I can't. I understand what you're saying, but I can't for a second think that St George should have to cop that in their salary cap.
Why not?
Why should they? He's left
They're the ones
club.
that signed him.
But they signed him at two years ago, whenever it was, for that value.
To take him off the market.
Yeah, exactly right. He wants to leave.
So they've got the first 2 years cheaper, and then when it gets into the serious money, they get let off.
But that's him. He wants to leave, Gus. He wants to leave the club because he doesn't want to play on the wing. It does matter.
They took him off the market.
But he doesn't want to be at the club.
I don't know what world you blokes live in, fair dinkum.
No, but he doesn't want to be at the club.
You media types really don't understand.
How can you honestly sit there and say that St George should have to cop $200,000 in their salary cap because Zach Lomax doesn't want to play for them?
100%.
That's the most ridiculous thing you've ever said.
100%. That's how the cap works, mate.
Mate.
That's how the cap works.
I can cop it if Parramatta have to put in their salary cap. That's fair enough. But how the Dragons have to cop it, please?
Well, someone's got to cop it.
Parramatta should have to cop it. There you go.
All right, well, it goes in the Parramatta cap. I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
I'm happy with that.
That's fine. Fair enough.
Yeah, what I'm saying is Parramatta can't get away with signing him for cheaper.
So what happens if the Dogs get him for $500?
We won't be signing him for $500 unless he can play in the front row.
Would you cop $850 in the cap?
Sorry?
Would you cop that extra, whatever you don't pay him in the cap? For anybody? No, you wouldn't.
No.
So how's it fair that Parramatta or St George?
I'm just saying that's what he's on. That's the contract value has been accepted by the league. That's his value.
But isn't that like... I sort of take my hat to Zach Lomax. Like I've been critical of him. I think he's playing his best footy. If I'm picking my Origin team,
I love Zach Lomax. I think he's terrific.
I think he can play on the wing, right?
I think he's terrific.
But he's willing to take a pay cut because he doesn't want to play on the wing.
But you've got to want to leave if you're going to cut $200.
You open up a Pandora's box there. A player can just walk out of one club and say, I'm taking less. I mean, he might be getting paid somewhere else. It opens up to all sorts of perceptions.
I understand what you're saying there, but you can't do that. You know you can't do that. If they got caught, they'd be losing.
Doesn't mean it won't happen. If it doesn't mean it won't happen.
I know. I understand that.
Tell me.
You watch him join the Roosters for $400.
Yeah, they got cap room. Plenty of room.
Was that
I just want to know where the rest of the money goes. Whoever he goes to has either got to wear the lot or St George has got to wear their share.
No.
Whether they pay him or not.